Hello everyone, कैसे हैं आप सब? So welcome to the real time hair creation course. So in this video we will learn about how to create hair card texture using Xgen. I hope आपने लास्ट वीडियो में माया Xgen के बारे में समझ लिया होगा, पर यहाँ भी हम Xgen से ही स्टार्ट करेंगे. उसके सभी पैरामीटर्स, सभी ऑप्शन को एक्सप्लोर करते हुए हेयर टेक्सचर क्रिएट करेंगे. I will show you the best Xgen Modify settings and tricks. So for that, please like and subscribe this video because you are going to get a lots of informations here. So before that, I have a gift for you guys. मैंने एक PDF नोट्स तैयार किया है इस पूरे कोर्स का, जहाँ पे आपको फुल पाइपलाइन, इंपॉर्टेंट सेटिंग्स, इंपॉर्टेंट वर्कफ्लो, इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप्स, वो सारा एक PDF नोट्स में मिल जाएगा, ताकि फ्यूचर में अगर आपको अपना कोई ग्रूमिंग प्रोजेक्ट करना हो, अपना पर्सनल पोर्टफोलियो क्रिएट करना हो, तो आप उन नोट्स को रेफ़र कर सकते हैं. क्योंकि बार बार किसी इंपॉर्टेंट सेटिंग या इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोसेस या स्टेप्स को जानने के लिए आप पूरे कोर्स की वीडियोस पे वापस आना थोड़ा मुश्किल रहता है. सो फॉर दैट यू हैव टू सबमिट वन गूगल फॉर्म, जहां आपको अपना नाम और ईमेल आईडी सेंड करनी होगी, जहां मैं आपको नोट्स मेल कर पाऊँ. सो यू कैन ऑल्सो टेक्स्ट मी ऑन इंस्टाग्राम, or if you are okay, you can drop your email in comment section itself. Okay, then let's start with first step of hair texture creation, which is blockout in Photoshop. Because blockout is very important to create, to know about texture density, shape, length of a hair and so many things. But पहले ये समझा जाए कि हेयर टाइप और हेयर स्टाइल में क्या डिफरेंस है. सो कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइए कि आपका हेयर टाइप क्या है. क्या आपका हेयर टाइप क्वाइल है, वेव है, कर्ली हेयर है आपके, स्ट्रेट हेयर है आपके? तो ये कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखिए. और हेयर स्टाइल भी लिखिए कि हेयर स्टाइल क्या है. क्या आपका सलमान खान जैसा हेयर स्टाइल है, शाहरुख खान जैसा हेयर स्टाइल है, या ऋतिक जैसा? सो ये होते हैं हेयर स्टाइल्स. और हेयर टाइप की बात किया जाए तो क्वाइल, वेवी एंड कर्ली. सो जैसे ही हम हेयर स्टाइल और हेयर टेक्सचर क्रिएट करते हैं तो वो एक स्पेसिफिक हेयर टाइप का होता है. जैसे अगर कोई कैरेक्टर का हेयर टाइप स्ट्रेट है तो हम स्ट्रेट का हेयर टेक्सचर क्रिएट करेंगे, और हम वो सेम टेक्सचर मल्टीपल कैरेक्टर में यूज़ कर सकते हैं, प्रोवाइडेड कि उन सभी कैरेक्टर के हेयर टाइप स्ट्रेट रहें. बट अगर आपके गेम कैरेक्टर के हेयर स्टाइल में डिफरेंट हेयर टाइप भी इंक्लूडेड हैं, जैसे कर्ली हेयर भी हैं, वेवी हेयर भी हैं एंड क्वाइल हेयर भी हैं, तो डिफरेंट हेयर टाइप्स हैं आपके एक ही कैरेक्टर में, तो आपको उन सभी हेयर टाइप्स के लिए डिफरेंट हेयर टेक्सचर क्रिएट करना होगा, ताकि आप वो हेयर स्टाइल और हेयर टाइप के साथ क्रिएट कर सकें. कार्ड प्लेसमेंट वाले प्रोसेस में कार्ड प्लेसेस हेयर स्टाइल ही क्रिएट करता है, हेयर वॉल्यूम डिफाइन करता है, हेयर फ्लो डिफाइन करता है. बट टेक्सचर से आप हेयर टाइप क्रिएट करते हैं, हेयर टाइप डिफाइन करते हैं कि आपके हेयर स्टाइल में कर्ली हेयर है, क्वाइली हेयर है, वेवी हेयर है. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स वी आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट इन दिस वीडियो. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद हेयर टेक्सचर क्रिएशन इन Xgen. सो पहले कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोसेस एंड टिप्स हैं जो फॉलो करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है टू स्टार्ट विद हेयर टेक्सचर और Xgen डिस्क्रिप्शन क्रिएट करने से पहले. सो द पॉइंट्स आर, फर्स्ट, it's very important to clear all history of your base plane mesh. So go to edit, delete all by type and delete history. And second is you should apply freeze all transformation. So for that just go to modify and freeze transformations here. Number 3, you should apply a Lambert material to your base mesh of your grooming. So just click a right button and select new material and select this Lambert material, and you can name your material. Now fourth is very important to keep your outline very clear as possible. So there should be no polygroups in your outlines. So these are the important points to take care before starting your grooming work. तो चलिए नेक्स्ट स्टेप में चलते हैं. नाउ जस्ट सेलेक्ट द प्लेन एंड असाइन अ लैम्बर्ट मटेरियल, ब्लॉक आउट टेक्सचर. सो जस्ट selecting this file and I'm just browsing my file and I press 6 for texture mode. So this would be perfect for long hair. So now I try to keep my outline very clean. So here I'm going to create my base plane where we are going to create my hair. So it would be base for our Xgen generation. So it's also just to move it up little bit. Just assign a new material Lambert and give a specific other name and make a little bit transparent so that we could be see our blockout layer. Divide these section into multiple parts as per my blockout textures, and I'm selecting these edges and extrude it, and I'm going to give some kind of angle, at least 45 angle tilt. So you have to select all the extra faces and delete it. So just selected edge and select these edge and extrude back and give a specific tilt, and selecting these faces and delete it. Now I'm going to separate these faces, so go select these faces and extract these faces. Now again I'm extracting these faces and give a little separation. So this is very important to clean your outline and make sure there should be no polygroups. Now your base mesh is ready. Now we will go for my Xgen generation and create our Xgen description in Xgen editor window. So just go to Xgen tab and click on this icon here, and it creates this kind of window. Then you can click the create a new description. Now choose your name, your collection. And for collection and description, I want to tell you something that one collection has multiple description. Like if you have a head hair collection, so under this head collection there is a eyes, eyebrows, eyelashes, beard. So these kind of things can be a description of head. So just name your description. I recommend you to start your description in a alphabetic order because it is easier to maintain your hair stands. So just click on this option also, placing and shape guides workflow. So this is very important because we are working with our long hair workflows. And just create OK, press OK and to create it. Now our grooming setup is ready. Now आप setup create करने के बाद भी कुछ बातें हैं जो आपको ध्यान रखनी है. So first is, now do not rename your description. Don't change your description name now. And do not clear your history. This is very important because कभी कभी हमारा होता है कि हम अपने फ्लो में डिलीट हिस्ट्री करते रहते हैं. सो नाउ डू नॉट क्लियर योर हिस्ट्री. अगर ऐसा किया तो आपके सारे डिस्क्रिप्शन जो हेयर डिस्क्रिप्शन हमने क्रिएट किए हैं वो डिलीट हो जाएंगे. Now and do not change your material for your base mesh. Remember that we have assigned our Lambert material, so do not change now. So I hope everything is fine. So let's moving on. और अभी तक आपने लाइक नहीं किया वीडियो, so do it now. Okay, so let's start with adding guides. So to add a guide, just click on this plus little icon here. This is add or move guides. So then we can place my guides on my plane. So I usually use 5 to 6 guide on each plane to get a specific dancing here. So the most important thing is your guide is like a skeleton. It's like a base of your hair stand. So every hair stands your hair will follow these guide. So these guide are working as a director. It gives a direction. It gives a hair flow. Hair length will follow these guide only. So these kind of things, these are kind of basic feature hair will follow with respect of these guides. And so it's really need to pay attention of the length of your guide to the main form. So the length of a hair and the length of a guide should be match, because if length of a hair is increased, and so they should be unguided, and where there is very difficult to maintain and control the hair flow if the length of hair will increase. So I scale these guide and I rotate them accordingly to my block out. Then I usually start sculpting with the very this kind of sculpt tool. I have this sculpt tool, so I can increase or decrease the size of this sculpt just by pressing B key, B for ball, and middle mouse button. You can see I'm increasing and decreasing this brush. So this is very handy tool, and I'm just to maintain and give a specific shape and size as per my block out. So now you can select all these guide and give a specific shape of and length, and you can select only one by one also, and just maintain the shape as per a texture block out. And then I select each guides from the different angle and give a specific flow. So these guide are very useful. It set our hair length and maintain the hair forms and clumps which we are trying to replicate from my block out texture. Then there are main features for hair will created in Modify itself, but these guide are very useful to hold the strength and the length of a hair, and it gives a specific direction and flow to my hairstyle. So once you satisfy with this guide, so now let's move on with this Xgen menu, and I request you guys please go through each and every option over here and gain some experience with these value and check, just try hit and try method. So this is very important to check by yourself, because this is not that I'm just telling you some values and you will understand, but the point is you have to gain your experience by yourself with each and every value. So I'm going to explain each and every option. So let's move with this Xgen menu, and I will check some of these features and values. So over here you can see we have this modify CV count. I usually set it to 30, and this kind of I think this is good enough for me. CV count is for to get more details, so all the modifiers will used on the based of this CV count. More CV count means you can add more details, more noise, more modifiers. So let's check these kind of density. This is the density option. This indicates the density of hair. So right now I also increase this kind of density, and for these hair stands they should be a little quiet, so I usually set this to thickness of 0.03 to 0.04, something in between. So this is important because this is a natural and standard hair size, thickness size. And you can see we have other option also, like taper, so it make our hair thinner towards tips and thicker in between. So you can manage this by this using this graph, width graph. So R for root and T for tip, you can manage your graph accordingly. So this is something very important now. Something I also create mask for my hair strands. So here is my masking option. So mask basically do is it delete unwanted hair. So I've just mask my area where I want to grow my hair. So just create this map. So this is really important because sometimes you have to create a specific area to grow your hair strands. The density map. Now I can increase and decrease my brush size by pressing B key, B for ball. Just press B and hold middle mouse button and drag. You can see the changes of brush of size. Now I'm just brushing and painting my mask area. So here is a color difference, which is black and white. So black means 0, means no hair. So over these black area no hair will grow. On white area I will get my hair strands or hair density. So it's also like to see it, I paint the very nice gradient, and this is kind of thing. So I create this kind of density and sticking on some side and some dense area between seed like area. So once you satisfy it, just don't forget to save your texture first on your tool settings, texture tool settings. First save your texture and then go back to your Xgen window and save your masking option also. So now let's move with my modifiers. So I usually have 4 modifiers. Basically we use clumping, cut, coil, noise. These are the basics modifier we mostly use. So under this, and I can replace the under clumping, so it should be have these two kind of generated maps, which is generated and guide. So this clumping is based on generation and guide based clumping. So first I want to use this as a guide based clumping. So I select guide. Now if I press the save button, now you can see my hair strands are following my guides and it's clumping to the end point of my guides. So this is called clumping with respect to guides. So here you can see we have this graph, and you can also tweak this value and check by yourself, so which value and which settings satisfy your desired results. So I also tweak this, and it's mainly used to curl effect and some kind of noise effect we usually use. So again I want to say that you have to check by yourself and test each and every option by yourself to gain an experience with these options. So it is not a big deal, just this is very easy. Whenever you make changes on this menu, your preview will show you you the best results. Now in this viewport render, you have to check this anti-aliasing settings and set the 16 bits of samples. Now this would make a preview a bit nicer, and adding my next clump here, which is I base generate basis, but the density is much higher, so I just decrease density and click OK. Now you can see we have these small clump also. So these clump are based on my generated spikes. So it should be higher, so I can create some kind of twists and clumps over here. So these are the self-explanatory, and you can check by yourself because these small values make lots of difference. Now again I am adding some kind of cut here. I'm adding cut modifier, and this is you can see we have a natural bit kind of cut on the tip. You can increase or decrease the size of your or length of your cuts. This decrease and gives a natural look to my hair. So it's because we should look on this and give a specific random value from 0 to 0.1, 0.2 and many more. Now moving on, next I would like to add a coil modifier. So here what it does, because we actually don't need it as a sample, but it shows me the hair strength and hair CV count. This is for our CV count is useful. I usually use coil for curling some kind of basic hair, so it's make the hair length curly. And there are two different settings, two different graphs for count and ratio scale. So just check by yourself again. These value you can see we have this kind of curly effect, so this is very important to create a curly type here. So just to change some radius and distance which give you a best result. So I hope this makes sense. Now if does not, yeah, you can play around it and just see which value is best for you. So it's better when you create this kind of things, and with this description, this over the description we have this stray percentage. You can define the number of percentage of hair you want to apply this modifier. So this is called a stray percentage. So this is a script. I want to say that the script is stray underscore question mark 1:0. So if I set my stray percentage to 20, so from overall hair 20% of hair will coil or apply this modifier on 20% of hair only. So now you can see the only 20% of my hair are showing this kind of effect. So this is true expression and extremely handy if we are talking about noise and coil modifier. We can use this kind of expression and use stray modifier as a result in 20% or 30% or 10% of your hair. So now I am going to add some noise modifier. Again I am going to set these frequency and magnitude to my noise modifier. So magnitude and frequency, you can see there are two expression around here, and I experiment with these value. So I think this is lots, and just give us some kind of graph. And because usually we want to make noise in a very little manner, so just adding this kind of curl, and I'm going to tips to want to this little increase. You can see my frequency, this is a random value between 0 to 1 or 0 to 2, 0 to 5. So this is very handy, and the more details depend on the length of the hair. On this hair strands, I'm just giving my stray expression, where my only 20% of stray can affect by this noise modifier. So you can see we have this kind of effects. So once again I want to say that you have to check by yourself, because according to my settings and my values, maybe it's not work for you, but I'm just I'm just giving you an example that you can adjust and giving some kind of effect with your air also. So again I'm creating one more clump with the generated based, and you can see the little bit effect we have experienced with this. So now switching on the screen space ambient option. So for that you will get more details on screen. So now for this screen ambient option, go to our preview render. So in this anti-align over this screen space ambient option should be enabled. So now you can see we have this effect, and you can change the amount of ambient occlusion and radius of ambient. So this is, I think, looking nice now, and it's kind of very opaque hair strength. Now it's more natural now, and I compare with my blockout texture. So it's not exactly need to 100% exact, but you have to maintain the length and density of a hair. So it's like more opacity, so you need to have a similar feeling out of it. So that's why we were creating this texture, and this is our first place over here. And also if see there is a hair on this flying away, I think this is looking nice. So this is for very important to note that whenever you create these kind of haircuts, make sure that your hair strands will not intersect each other, because it affects your haircut's texture, and it look not natural. So take some time and don't worry, don't be in a hurry. Just take some time and learn each and every option by yourself, and in this way I'm just going to save my file. Now make sure you have to save your file, and just go with your modifiers. So I'm going to save my modifier to the click and on this and save modifier, then same your modifier, because we are going to duplicate or replicate these modifier options and values for every haircuts. So for that I'm just saving all my modifiers, that so that we can just load those modifiers again and again for each and every haircuts. So when you are ready to create a second hair strands, so go to the select and plane and create description. So over here I'm just giving a name of my new description called B or big strand, and placing, and I'm just creating my collection under this same collection. So now I'm just controlling this placing and shaping guides and click create. Now we have our second description called B big strands. Now again adding some guides and scale them. So I'm doing same things as I create my first hair card. So I'm just sculpting my guides and give a specific root and size and shape of my guides to create a interesting flow. But it's all about the same stuff. Again I'm just going to decrease the size width of a hair, and once you have saved our modifier, you can go and load get your all saved modifier again. Now make sure that you have loaded in a right order with clump 1 2 3, then coil, then cut. Then don't get confused with the others. So it is super important to make sure that generate map. So once you loaded all the modifiers, you have to generate your clumping maps again for each and every clumping settings. That's why it will show the setup maps. First generate with respect to guide, clump 2 with respect to generate, and clump 3 with respect to generate itself. So in every time you need to these modifier and set up those maps. And to make the modifier which used to string expression also, so work you will be need to set your percentage of stray. Again you can see we have get these same effect as previous, but if you see we have some kind of hair strands intersect each other, but make sure that your hair strand should not be intersection. So if you see that, just select this hair strands and you can delete and separate those hair strands from each other. So here is the two options: select hair strand and cut hair strand. So now on this preview it looking nice. So now I'm giving you the another way to create these kind of guides using CV curve tool. So here I am selecting my curve tool, which is CV curve tool. The thing is, you need to remember that you always need to start from root here. So you can see we have my curve. This is just a curve. I'm selecting my complex curve and give a specific shape and size according to my blockouts. So in the last option you can see the method is more advantage because curve are very easy to manipulate and very easy to select it. So it's easier to tweak them and select each and every option. Just start from root and make your curves. It's very easy. Just click and press enter when you're done. So you can align the root closer to the base, and it's not so important, but as soon as you connect with this add a description, you have to maintain this flow. So you need to convert these guides so they will be automatically stick to a plane. So I will create new description, and for my third strands, now select my plane and go to my Xgen video window and description, create description. Now just change my name to C. I'm just creating my description in an alphabetical order to get to know in easier way. Now go and select all curves, and in this utility tab you have this curve to guide option. So you can see I can create my curves to guide itself. Now the rest of process is same. So the rest of operation is same, and we will create these kind of things each and every part of this creation process. Just fast forward this process. In the next video we will make our maps. So we have so many maps for my texture, like ambient occlusion, albedo maps, depth maps, normal map, color map, ID map, gray map, root map. So there are so many maps to create a realistic hair cards. This will be covered in the next video. So for that, please like and subscribe this channel and this video, because you are going to get lots of things. That's it for now, and enjoy this time lapse. because time lapse is very important if you want to follow this same step. Have fun, enjoy your day.
At 29 and I find myself wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.